active, they get approximately between 2,000 to 3,000 interactions a month over a 20-day period. And we get a lot of feedback from them too, and we get monthly reports on how the service is going and what are the pertinent issues and which countries, for instance, this month had some serious issues, the nature of the questions. We work a lot with them too. And the third part is, this is where like this team here connects with the three of them, because this part here is what happens at what we call the ECHO, the EURES coordination of it. So one of the ways we also build these needs and understand these needs in order to keep up with the market, we perform a lot of studies and analysis. And we do this on our own and also with the contractors. And of course, then we get internal requests because we have also to satisfy the policy needs. There are two names. Elena, who's one of the policy officers. Lieder, who's our deputy head. You may know him. Our head of unit. Davide, who's here. They also provide requests because they are also embedded in other teams, like the training team and working with other contractors. Sure.
Launch the presentation on. So please close this door. Private.
Just to keep on going. So what we did this year, you see it in the slide. So we built a business plan.
Just the keynotes.
Which looks over 2015. We divided everything into quarters. So there are clear deliverables every quarter. On the stuff that you actually see there as an end user. And for us, you're the what we call the internal kitchen part. It's like you're part of us. You're going to see these developments.
That's why I want to use Windows 8.
And then what we've done is we're now at the process where we're starting to plan also what's going to happen in 2016. So we have some things which we know will not be delivered this year because of resource constraints and also because of the speed of implementation. But we're already planning as of this month, we're looking at in 2016. We have a bit of a longer term vision for that, but like we really have to give a picture to our contractors 3 years down the line. But you know how technology goes. We just want to specify in a bit more detail the first year, which would be then 2016.
I'm sorry for this.
We proceed with the plan accordingly. It does not mean that the plan is set in stone. If there's something which comes up which is extremely important, we implement it. As I'll take you through the slides, one of the first things you're going to see this year is we're going to focus on the single sign-on concept, so that anyone who wants to use the services of the portal can use the single sign-on approach. My slides are very graphic. There's not much data in them, but if you have any questions or if you want me to send you the entire business plan, I can send it to you. Another area we're working on.
Next one?
Next one, yeah. So that's the single sign-on, which we were talking about. Those of you who were here yesterday,
He's doing an animation.
just here.
It's impossible.
Presented the Extranet. We are extremely delighted because the Extranet, it is something which we were saying, this is a nice project, it's one of the projects, but we're realizing that people are really
using this
enthusiastic about it. They really like the features that are there. So when I was
That's not wrong. I'm capturing whatever is happening on your screen.
They were asking a lot of questions.
The moment you switch to the Windows,
we saw also yesterday.
it stopped
We
capturing.
got some really good feedback about this yesterday. We presented it also at the European Commission to several people, and they were really eager about it. So Ralph is the leader on this one. He can take you through the entire process. It's much more rationalized, but has much more functions. They're very responsive, I like to call it. Rather than having a list of separate areas, now it kind of maps you to understand where you need to go And the key three areas are the connect, collaborate, and learn part. As you can see from the left-hand side, it's very clear what they stand for. And that's the idea behind it, to simplify it as much as possible. So the connect part is you get who's who, so you get to know who is in the network. There's a wall, which is this brick-like feature, which very similar to Facebook, which Ralph explained yesterday, but I'm sure we can go further into detail today. The collaborate part, where we talk a lot about events, we have a gazillion events going on every year, because this is a very dynamic project, so it's important that we give them priority. Workspaces, and I think it's part of the workshop of today that we'll look at those as well, and several other tools. And the learn part is there's the plans, all kinds of statistics and reports, and the boring part, the visualization, but unfortunately, these are the early wireframes These also feature part of the deliverables for this year. It's just a depiction.
Would have been more in presentation. Mine is there's no animation by stuff. There's no
The animation is no problem. It's just the moment you went to the windows, that the OBS, yes, the screen, but it doesn't know anymore what the screen is.
I couldn't take my screen off the Windows 8.
No, in Windows it stops. If the Mac software, the moment you switch to Windows, all the Mac software stops.
This is like a Google-like free text search. So you can actually type there, I'm looking for a job in Agile, and that's going to the bare minimum data you would like to provide on the portal, and if already you start getting prompts for jobs you can find. You can then start specifying by country, by contract duration, by contract type. You can even specify employer's name if you would like to, and another feature So we have to debate that, how we can approach it. On this one. Another key feature, also being led currently by Ralph, is the activity plans, which we hope to eventually plug it into the extranet. So we're currently piloting a study how to display it. We are very advanced in the design. I would say we're 90% there. Of course, when we come to the implementation is when we start experimenting a bit with it with the member states and internally to try and explain exactly how it's going to work. Because one thing we'd like to do is, as soon as we release something, we immediately provide training on it and support. So that's why I'd like to give this overview. And if you have any questions as well, Ralph is here. Another area where we're working very closely with Davide, who's also here today, is the learning management system, which will also eventually be plugged into the new extranet. This has been entirely revamped, and we're also looking at some new training initiatives. I don't know if Davide will have some time to brief the team, but we can do it also informally. They're working on some new ideas in order to systematize training, to give it how would I? It's like institutionalize it, so that people know exactly what level you can enter, which are the required trainings, which are the advanced trainings. There's this idea of the academy too, that if it's approved, it will give it a lot of weight. As you can see, this year is quite a critical year, actually, on a number of levels. We're trying to help and provide ideas to our internal customers and external customers. The reporting system, I would like to call this like the phase one of the reporting module we're going to be providing. So you get the top 10 jobs, top 10 positions, the top 10 sectors which are being looked for. You can look at the stock take of the entire portal, what's happening. And this is more or less what it's going to look like. So contract types, contract duration, and this is a project which Christoph is working on. We can give you more details later. Another thing we're trying to do, two things. There's one other item which is missing from here, but I'll brief you very quickly on that one. Your first EURES job is part of EURES, but it kind of rests outside. It's another one of those products which also people kind of forget about. But it's been extremely successful. Just last year we had 30 first EURES job events, and we're moving just as fast this year on It's very popular. Actually, sometimes we don't know where we're going to slot new ones. And what we're going to do is we're going to integrate this a bit more into EURES. So EURES is now the umbrella brand. Another good news is that we have a new project called Drop-In, which we hopefully also aim to integrate into the portal. So actually now, a job seeker, not even a job seeker, somebody who's looking into training, into learning opportunities, apprenticeships, traineeships, will go through one integrated system. So now you understand the idea why we have to start planning way ahead in order to accommodate all these developments. As I said yesterday, we're kind of changing the attitude. We're saying, okay, this is what's going to be delivered in 2 years' time or 3 years' time. We prefer to tell you, okay, this is what we're working on. We're at a very advanced stage. As soon as it's going to be released, you'll be the first to know. That's why yesterday, me and Ralph were emphasizing even at lunchtime, Extranet is a pilot project. It's nearly out of the oven. We still have some difficulties to get it out because of server testing and compatibilities with the Commission once it's migrated from the developers, but we're nearly there. I think that's it.
Il n'y a rien sur
Do
le
you have any questions? I hope I've been clear.
lire des fichiers Word.
About the Act 1 Android application, you find it in web or you block it out and we will leave you responsive website?
To enable, we're going to redo it because currently it's not working. When you look at it visually, we won't have the full functionalities of the portal because I don't think people will be, not the team, we don't think people really will be filling in a CV on a portable device at least yet. But we plan, we have it also in this year's business plan to revamp that one. Yeah. Good. Feel free to ask us. We'll be here around, and I hope. Yeah. Go ahead.
Concerning the reporting tool, you showed some pictures concerning vacancies. Will you also integrate CV reporting?
Yes. That's in fact a project led by Simon. Yes.
You revamp that Android application based on the new APA list API. You will revamp that Android application, I guess, based on the new API which will be available to the version 3. The Android application, EURES, set for the Java application.
The mobile one?
Yeah.
Yes. For the mobile one, we plan to use the possibilities of the new API in the mobile application. Yeah. So the mobile application is also customer. They will also give requirements to us. Yeah. Correct.
That's why we're linking to yesterday's presentation. So yeah. Okay, thanks a lot. I hope you enjoy the rest of the workshop. If anything comes to your mind, as I said, we're here. Thank you.
Nodding.
You can leave it like this. It's fine. I'll take out.
Don't miss anything.
It's fine. For the guys which are on the live YouTube, apologize for the issues we have right now, because I know you're watching it, and same for the audience here. So I can use a PDF there directly.
You don't have your presentation? You don't have PowerPoint on your...
No, but I will use the PDF directly, so like this there is no issue at all. So it's going to be safer that way.
No, but it's not the animation of the PowerPoint. It's really you need to stay in the Mac and not go to Windows. That's the only thing.
Yeah, that's
Converting to PDF.
Ah, okay.
like this is safe. Normally it should be okay.
Are you sure for your presentation?
Is it okay for your presentation? You don't have animation.
No, I just remove all the animations,
just
so it's safe.
Restart the
Sinon, on peut utiliser le
C'est bon, c'est... Just for my information, who was not there yesterday? You and I suppose you. You were not there yesterday, right? Yeah, during the IOC, you were not in the IOC working group?
No.
No. Okay, Italy, I suppose? You're from Italy?
I'm from Spain, but
Okay,
I
from
was
Spain?
in this group, not in the other
Okay.
one, because I'm not an IT.
And you're from Italy?
Italy.
Yeah, Italy, Spain, okay. At least I know who you are, okay.
Check.
Okay,
You got the okay.
you tell me.
Sorry.
So for you two especially, so what I said, there is three kind of working groups: the IOC working groups, the information and communication working groups, and the IT working groups. And what we try to do for the Extranet and all related projects, we try to have an alignment of all the working groups. For us, the most advanced, I would say, in kind of feedback and also new test or whatever is the IT working groups. Why? Because you're really a small groups and it's easier to manage all the input and feedback. In parallel, we of course take all the feedback of all the bracket end users. And with the IOC, we also have another kind of focus as a second main working groups. And we get the communication working groups. That's another type of groups where we get more feedback about communication, social media area. So we try to align what we want to do with you, knowing that there is three work streams and different kind of interest. So Christophe, whenever you want, you tell me if it's okay. And online is okay?
Yeah, online.
Okay.
Full HD.
Okay,
Looking good.
let's start. So, cross finger for Murphy, not there too much today. The agenda. Well, it's to get your feedback about the new extranet for for better collaboration. And because of two persons in the audience, I will repeat some part I talked about yesterday. So we are all aligned on that part. The focus, of course, is to tell you what happened on the last IT working group on the 5th of December, because we try to take all your needs and requests, and then we build something by this. And then today, we're going to focus, in fact, on the activity and features linked per workspaces. Don't be afraid, I will explain what is workspaces. Okay? And also to have the kind of basic wiki outline structure for all the workspaces. So you are really key, in fact, defining the initial, I would say, structure of all the workspaces. And like always, if you see this little icon, it means it's going to be a workshop and you will participate. For this part, it's going to be an hour and a half maximum. There will be 3 facilitators. So you will get Pascal, that you may know, of course, and Davide was in fact in charge of all about the learning for the entire network. And of course me, so we're 3. So, first of all, sorry for the others in the audience. That's the extranet today. You get a set, like any other extranet, you get a set of kind of information you can get through the current extranet, and you have access to specific tools. That's what I explained yesterday. I will not go too far. Then during workshops and also feedback from all the end users, we are redefining the completely a new extranet for all the EURES. We focus first, of course, on the EURES advisors, but also, of course, on the other EURES members. And this is a result of where we're going to go for, I would say, for the future in the extranet. You will have 3 parts to better collaborate with each other and to find information. I go really short, because I don't want to repeat too much what I said yesterday. The point which is kind of also a side of the structure and collaboration is the online chat. So you will be able to chat with groups of people which are connected inside the extranet. That's the purpose here, because it was something like by I would say 99% of the audience that where can I chat without any issue. And from Germany, of course, we know that there might be some issue with port, whatever. So based on your country, you might have IT admin that will say, no, you cannot access the online chat. So that's why we have a pilot, so we can test if it's working for all the countries and to fine-tune and find the solutions. And the last one is about the shortcut. That is, in fact, when you do your daily work, well, you often do the same kind of task. You often go to the same kind of, I would say, same part of the sites, or I would say extranet, and we provide you, I would say, an open to you to define what would be your shortcuts. That's the purpose of the shortcut links that will be available in the extranet. Also explained yesterday, the concept of workspace is simply to to provide you some tools which are collaborative tools like wiki pages, forum, file repository, etc. that is on the market today, and to create specific groups which are using this kind of technology. So basically, if there is, let's say, something about finding a job, that might be a workspace, and you might want to collaborate using the wiki or forum inside it. Or let's say here, the IT working group, you want to develop and exchange ideas. Well, that's a workspace. You will have a wiki, you will have a forum, file repository, and it's up to you to define what you want to put inside. What I emphasize on the other working groups is that this is completely open. It's transparent. Anyone can put whatever he wants inside, because the purpose is to make people collaborate inside these specific workspaces. And when you log into the extranet, we know who you are. So normally we know who put what exactly. Why? Because that's what we call the work in progress, and this can evolve. That's the concept of the workspace collaboration we would like to go further. And we're going to test it, if it's working or not. This we cannot know without testing it. Often you get IT that decide everything, and they say, okay, let's just use it. No. If you do this, you will not have the audience that will try to use it. You need to have the learning curve on it. And that's why you've got Davide, who is also informed for the learning of the full EURES, to know what could be interesting to teach bracket for the future newcomers to this technology, but also new people joining the network, for instance. Just the feedback of the 5th of December, that was the last event on the IT working group. One of the exercises was, of course, to define the main areas of the extranet. That was done on the 5th of December, and that's going to be the structure of the new extranet. That's based on the input of the IT working group. Then what we have done is simply exercise to see how we could use a workspace called the, by chance, IT working group, how we could start to exchange ideas. So the instruction was this, is like, find your workspace, click on the IT working group workspace, and now, based on what could be interesting, could you collaborate using a wiki? That's what happened with the audience on the 5th of December. And basically, there were some groups, and each group provide their feedback directly into the wiki pages of how they would envision categories of workspaces. So they defined project kind of workspace, which are specifically, in fact, discussions about specific projects. Then working groups, kind of category of workspaces, like IOC, IT, and information and communication. And maybe test workspace, like what I heard was about the IT tools. How can we share our knowledge about IT tools, how we're using in our country, whatever, and best practices, for instance. And the last point was about the European Job Days. This came often. So how can we exchange how we do events using the EOGD platform? That was a kind of category of workspace. Based on this, at the end of this workshop in December, it was suggested by the audience, and that's you. That's why, for me, it's important to get your needs, and it's not us that tell you what you need, but you tell us. One idea was to have, of course, because there's a lot of people working in each country, take your own country, you got your specific way of working, it would be nice to have one workspace per country. So that's what was one of the ideas. It would be perfect to have one specific for IT development. We would like to have projects, so multiple projects or partnership between countries to be in workspaces. Of course, one core EURES workspace where there could be the Q&A coming around. Community of practice using, because of course with the OGD you're using some kind of tools like maybe NetTop or those kind of tools. That could be interesting to tell how you're using it, but also, for instance, if I take the example of Harry, to say how it was done, there is some video recording stuff. So other members can learn how it was in that country. That's the way to exchange practically any knowledge you have between all of you. Then working groups. And in fact, what was interesting is none was about role-based. So I'm a EURES advisor, workspace. I'm a EURES manager, or workspace. It was not based on the role-based. So in a way, you conclude that it was really focused on task and exercise you want to do. That's the purpose of the workspaces, and not about role definition, which is already a good alignment, because on the side, we made the same exercise before, and it was completely matched between what we would expect. So that's what we try to do. What is the best practice into doing kind of workspace communities? And then from you, the users, to see if you get the same mindset. And by the way, in terms of priority, what we think is good is not enough. Is what you think is good is what we want to develop. So what you say is the thing we need to implement. So first of all, thank you for the IT working groups of last year, because you defined the categories of workspace and the type of access. I will go back later on that stuff. And here are a set of initial workspaces based on your input, we conclude. So first of all, just so a recap. In terms of membership, if you know LinkedIn groups, we are envisioning and doing, in fact, 3 kind of membership workspace. One which is open, so open to any member of the network, like, let's say, EURES Q&A, for instance. That could be interesting, or IT tools, because we might have people that might share other information, not only the IT working groups. You have private, which is more example like Train the Trainer, which is a community that will be a workspace managed by Davide. Each country needs to know how to use EURES, so broadly and also more specific into tools and product. But if we have to do this, the training for all the countries, of course there is a learning management system, you've got all that kind of things, but maybe we need to find some key persons that could train other people in your own country. And trainer purpose, of course, to find those people, and it's open to join. That's why it's called private into Liferay, because we use Liferay technology to develop the system based on conclusion of 2 years decision. And it's simply that you would like to be a trainer for your country to train other members, and it will be moderated by Davide. So this is not to take the training, is to be a trainer to, so you will have training to become a trainer. That's the purpose of Train the Trainer. And then restricted are more, I would say, kind of workspace which are private, so invisible, like working groups. That could be possible. That you must be invited specifically because you're part of this working group and you can see it. It's purely not to mix, I would say restricted to the open workspace. What you would do is like you will work in the IT working group and maybe you want to share some of your information into an open working group. That's the purpose of the restricted working area of workspace.
May I ask a question?
Sure.
Everybody see the groups, also the groups that are restricted. Can you see there is a working space?
Well, at this stage, so in the list, so you can have the list of the workspace which are open and restricted, but you will normally not see the, you will see the open and the private workspace based on the definition here, but the ones which are completely restricted are not visible except if you're a member of it. Simply because if you are an end user and you see a list of things, you would like to access everything. So the way we decide today, but this can be changed completely. That's why we use a kind of agile approach. We use Scrum to develop this extranet. We don't show the restricted, for instance, the working groups. We don't show it in the list of workspace. This can be changed, of course. Now, that was for the membership kind of mechanism we have behind it. And it's basically what you will find in the best practice in all kind of membership for having specific communities. In terms of category of workspace that you helped us to define last time, there is 3 types. There is the group of interest, project, and working groups. So the group of interest are purely when you have a large number of audience that would like to talk about a subject or know about a subject. So you can view if you want, but you can also participate inside. Typical examples will be, of course, EURES Q&A. Let's say a question that comes often is, who should I contact for? And then we need to define this list of, for all those elements when you want to reach EURES, you don't know where to contact. Yeah, there is this help, there's a form where you put your content inside, but maybe you've got much more precise elements, like I am stuck in a live stream, whenever. You don't want to go to the help desk, you want to have somebody more active. So we need to define this part, and that's where there's a EURES Q&A workspace. Job offers is much more based on the benchmark we made on the current extranet, where we can see in terms of activities, you have an area where the EURES advisor are sharing their jobs or needs. And there we think job offers is something important. So it's basically the EURES advisor workspace, because there are a lot of interaction. You've got something like, I would say, I said yesterday, there is 900 active members in the network with 3,000 brackets sleeping. The total is 3,000 account. We need to find who is still in or out in the EURES network. We need to identify from the 900 EURES members which are active. And our wild guess is 100 are active. So really going to the extranet and everything. We're trying to see who is the most active. And from that audience, we're trying now to identify as a future which are informal influencer. Because that's a key audience, the one which are participate. And if you have been in other workshops, well, I'm sure you've seen specific people which are really, really active directly. I mean, that's the way you will see it. And it's only because we have these kind of events. So one question from Valentin is about going only online. No, we need to have human contact. So we need to have physical meeting like this, of course. Going online completely, no, we're not robots. And it's during this kind of event we can see who are the one participating and have the will, in fact, to do it naturally. That's the purpose also. So that's about, I would say, engaging, in fact. Then, seeing the group of interest, you have, train the trainer. That's about, training for the trainers. Then, something specific is the cross-border partnerships, which is a specific area we have in EURES, and there's a lack of exchange of knowledge here. So that's would be one of the workspace that could be developed, of course. Going into projects, well, at this stage, the vision is, of course, is to be able to add workspaces on demand. But for the development today, it's not possible in timing. We would like that it's completely open to the network to create, to suggest to create new workspace, and based on, I would say, a workflow to say, okay, we validate, the objective is clear, who will be the members of it, who will be acting on it, then we create this workspace. But that's for the future, it's not for now. The sandbox is purely a way to explain you how to use tools like Wiki, because if you're new to Wiki or to forums, and basically yesterday we asked who is using, so who has been adding a page on the Wiki, and there was something like 70% said, just raise the hand. The thing is today, is how do you combine a wiki with a forum? How can you make them work together? How do you combine a wiki with online chat? It's not only about one specific feature, it's how do you combine those features and for which kind of task you want to combine those kind of features. That's where you go beyond the typical, I use only one technology and one wiki and that's it. You can go further than this. So project will be, of course, more increasing at this stage, but we want to keep it low at this stage for purpose of seeing the pilot what will happen. And then last, of course, is specific working groups. Well, that's official working groups that we have, so IEC, IT, and IOC, and there is ECG and the NCO that might want to have their own workspace to collaborate. We don't know for those two specific groups if they will collaborate only just dump files, because often collaboration is about only putting a repository of a document, but there is no interactions. We need to train also those people. We're willing to try to do it also. By the way, if there's any questions, just jump. I mean, that's. I prefer to recap to the audience here. So, as said, a workspace is defined with a set of features. So you can see in the dashboard, wiki, a file repository, a forum or message board, a calendar, and the list of members. Because maybe you want to know who is part of this, specific workspace. You want to contact. That's basic, but still, we need to have this information. At the initial phase now, those features will be activated, but maybe some workspace do not need to have a forum or do not need to have a wiki. So we can reduce, and maybe some workspace need more features that can be added in later. That's based on your feedback. We will see it inside. So now, what we want you to help us in the workshop is to design the initial outline of the categories of workspace. Why? Simply because last time you defined the categories, and now we would like to go further and see how we should have an initial templates for all those workspace. We're going to try it. That's the purpose of this workshop. So let's really take your input, and then during the pilot we will see how the audience, and that's going to be, I think, 90 users, which are from the 3 working groups, will interact inside to see how it's going to evolve. And like I mentioned yesterday, in a workspace, it's not always active every day. It can be active on a specific moment or can die at a moment. It's normal. That's the way people work. It's just a work in progress. As mentioned, it's completely based on the people that participate inside. There is no restrictions. We don't control anything. You have access, you can put content inside. Okay, let's start the workshop. So, icon here. I will need to have 3 teams, and that's going to be based on your interest. So, 1, 2, and 3. So, who would like to focus on how does a group of interest should be designed, or a project kind of workspace, or working groups, and you can decide. So, if you go for the group of interest, stand here. Please stand up. Please stand up. Group of interest, project, and working group.
See, basically we'll have to choose one of these workspaces. Yeah. So the people in the group of interest group will have to choose one of these examples and develop it. Mm-hmm. The people in the project group will have to choose either the sandbox or a random project and develop it. Same thing for the last line, which is about the working group, workspace.
is the one that you can block.
This is interest.
Group of interest, this is project, and over there will be working group.
I know how to use these. These ones are sticky.
So you will be doing what? I prefer to do a group of interest. So which is the group of interest group workspace? Three is fine, eh?
Okay.
You want to stay with me in group of interest?
Yes.
Good.
You want the project, right?
So before people run out, it's better that we go out. There's a very nice sofa. We take one of these
yes.
and we can write from it. And so, do you want to do an introduction now about the
Yeah, I
task?
will explain the
After.
Oh, poor guys are only two. Does anyone want to go to the project group?
Yeah. It's actually the one more creative because you can actually think about any kind of project.
Okay.
But here we have the expert, and he says there's 3 people, so...
Facilitate, we facilitate. We're not expert, we just facilitate. You are the guys who...
Okay, so groups are done?
But he has to do an introduction.
Yeah, of course, of course. So first, so team 1, group of interest. So you get a cheat sheet, this one, and you have this part for later. Group 2, project. That's group of guys, project, and group 3, that's stuff. So it's just to help you to remind you some part, about what you need. So what we have on right now, that's the first task that you have for the next 25-ish minutes.
Until 11:15, including the coffee break.
Yeah, including the coffee break, so if you need to have a coffee, you just take a coffee. The first task here is you think about your workspace. You know, you've got some components, whatever, and what would be, in terms of scenario, the task that I should do. So as a part of this workspace, I need to just like use a story approach. Just to define what are all the tasks that you think that for this specific workspace, somebody should need to be able to do. So scenario we can define, and it's up to you, it's completely free, open to you. So if I take an example here, a project, well, basically, what are the typical scenario when you are part of a group doing a project? What do you need to do? Teamwork, whatever, and the task that you need to do, and think about, okay, how can something called a workspace will help me? That's the approach. So, same for the, for the working groups, and same for the group of interest.
And then we do I flip our paper like this. We write all the tasks, and we will see what we do later after 11:15.
Okay.
Okay. So we're going outside because it's more comfortable.
Like you want.
Well, we have to pick one of the topics, right?
You
Go
are
back to the previous slide. Like at least the
sit on
Yeah, so...
So when you were doing the project, what do you do?
Where are the working groups?
What are the different scenarios? So if you can think about the timeline,
Workspaces to
and
work.
see, you can think about the timeline and say, okay, there's a project starting and ending, whatever,
For
and
projects
see,
is different.
let's say I introduce you to a
Project
journey,
X, but for the
as a journey of a
working
project. Think about the typical project that you were being part of.
We've lost some
And just see from the
Oh,
beginning
Karen
to
is
the
also
end,
good.
what we did
Okay.
before, what are all the
What we can do is
important
go in
elements
the
in the
nice
project.
space
And then we can go there into kind of
When I'm going to develop the API, the new API, for example, it's a
take
project.
you can take a concrete example if you want.
The one...
And based on this you can see that's the kind of task I need to do on the timeline for instance. That would be one approach.
testing, and stuff like that. Before launching, for example.
Project can be not only IT,
But I'm from the
Yeah, of
IT,
course.
so...
I was thinking about, I'm in this first EURES job as one of the partners, and Sweden is the leading partner, and we are 8 countries together. And I was thinking about making European Job Days together with all 8 partners. So they could use it for that.
You can use it for this, that's fine. Maybe one other element you can do, and you can use the flip chart, is you get business, you get IT, maybe and communication.
Yeah.
Make a timeline and just
Yeah.
start to think about it.
But isn't we have all different experience?
Yeah.
I was thinking of not thinking of a specific project, but all project will start with an idea, of course, brainstorming, best practice, and then we have a, I don't know, legal workflow. In the end, you have the idea planted. That goes for everybody. So that's
A general.
yeah, general way to meet.
I think what we do also, because we come from different scenarios, backgrounds, everybody specifies what do you think of a project, and then we can merge the common things between us.
Every project should
Because I see a project in a different way than you guys, because I work in IT, so you see a different.
But nevertheless, I think from the IT part, the way of working projects can be, of course, not
For example,
non-IT.
IT, you first press you through the analysis, before starting a project. I'm a developer, then you start development, testing, implementation, it goes into the marketing part. So, because you choose to do something without nobody knows about it.
You can count that on
So,
a non-IT.
yes, yes. I mean, it's the main backbone of the.
I have forgotten what are you working with at home? Are you from IT or?
I'm kind of coordinating the network, so
Okay.
overseeing entities. So I get involved in a few projects that UK might be doing. Job fairs.
Okay.
I'm a developer.
Yes, I remember.
On the technical side, so.
I remember what we tested
about-
at European Job Days.
But just for this task, just for me to be
There's the wire here.
just to be clear, it's about the limits of what we can do in the workspace, yeah? Because we can talk about projects in general.
At the end, so you got at the end, because that's the steps in the workspace. So it's first to define simply, without the technology, what are the typical tasks if there was a project to do in
To run a project.
And then afterwards, when I tell you, it's like, how can you put it using the workspace? How can the workspace help you or not?
Okay, so we just list things to do with project. So
Requirements,
yeah,
gathering of requirements, for example, the first thing.
From
You need,
start to
you need to gather what is the main requirement exactly.
You can just start to jot. I would say just can do it. I mean, a kind of brainstorm here with ideas. Just jot the idea of the audience, and regroup them. That's would be one way to do it. I will help you to facilitate that. So just jot because you have a different perspective. You can go strike through or whatever. Interesting. I need to. That's pretty difficult.
Yeah.
Yeah, typically, what are the components of a project, for instance, on the high level view? That's what I can see on that part.
Promotion of marketing. Yeah. That's okay.
With time, with
Or the time
milestones.
frames, milestones.
Yeah, milestones, yeah.
Deadline. Have a look
Mine
at
has
those.
beginning and end.
Yes,
but
yes,
we have
the beginning and end.
milestones
Mhm.
on the way. Risks. They need to decide who, yes. Oh,
Used to do it. Paint everywhere.
then you really were alive.
I didn't know I had that kind of muscles. More keywords.
Testing, maybe.
Testing.
Yeah.
Meetings,
Yeah.
meetings.
And
Very important.
just to know, based on experience in projects, recall yourself, when do the issues are coming? Due to what? What is the issues coming from? Often when you do a project, it's never working correctly.
Communication,
Maybe.
I don't understand the issues. What
When you do a project,
Yes.
there is a moment where there's a consensus, but before the consensus, there's a kind of clash between some people.
Yeah.
Identify what would be the concern, how come there can be issues? Just
Yeah.
what are the cause?
sometimes it's people have a misunderstanding of the goals, don't have the same, they have different objectives basically, so it's trying
I
to...
think another thing
And what
is
do you do when you get this kind of...
priorities, prioritization, because a lot of people, they want everything, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, normally there's this kind of clash that people are looking for different things, so you have to reach some kind of compromise
Need to
and
know which are
prioritisation.
the most important.
But you need, I mean, the team and everything, you always need a leader there, you need somebody responsible.
I'm talking about leader. From you four, who will be the presenter? Because with the moment you will have to present maybe to the rest of the audience. Who will be the presenter for? Wants to present?
One that can read what is written.
You can decide later, but not right now.
Anyone have a coin?
We'll find somewhere.
Yeah. Not a big deal. I think we more or less are.
From my experience, the way they present is one of these two guys. It's from my experience, which when I saw them speak, not because you were, but
It could be one of them or both of them.
or not.
Yeah, both of them.
That's okay.
I like the way they.
It's like in Asterix.
Asterix.
They choose the wallet. Because I don't think you can read what I have written.
That's fine.
Yes, I get very fluent English.
That's why.
No, I can read what you have written. Is this what you see as a, can be adapted from an idea?
Things here, the main.
China's nothing.
I can see testing a lot of different ways.
Yeah, testing you can all continue to open,
Yeah.
as user testing.
Focus groups, if you
Yeah,
reach the right
those
target. Equipment, never leave to
Budget, I think, budget
Yeah.
is listed
It
there,
is,
that's already there.
costs.
Question, if you take a timeline, you got the beginning of the project, you got during the project, and
Yeah.
closing the project. How do you put the closing of a project here?
Deadline, I think it's listed.
How do you close a project?
And there might be the evaluation.
Okay.
Report.
It might be a report. Yes, right there.
I wish that can we find extra word for milestones? Because what I learned is you have milestones, but you have more valuable milestones. Decision points is maybe more correct. Closing.
I think a survey would be nice even before the project and one after the project.
Survey.
Yeah.
Survey so that you see.
So it's benchmark.
I think in most projects I will in launch it and you leave it open and seldom take the time to learn. And then you have to start all over.
Yes.
If you had to put, based on the keywords here and elements, what is key for the start, what is key during, and what is key for closing, just to see what are the priorities in the phases of any project.
Maybe we can put it on this one.
Oh, you can choose whatever you want.
It's bigger.
Yeah.
If this is...
No,
So at beginning, during, and end, yeah. So
Yeah.
we just
We
let's
use the whole.
yes, we can go here and put it.
Yeah.
party, maybe at the end.
Party? Did you say party?
That comes at the end, doesn't it?
Ah, yes.
Yeah.
Important, that's really important.
Celebrating.
Always celebrate,
Let's
yeah.
start, maybe.
Yeah, that's
Day
perfect.
after.
After party.
Yeah.
Afterwards, yeah. Maybe we can take this color here for, let's say, starting. So I just ask you to say, put, I would say, A, letter A for starting. We need to use ABC, for instance. Give all those elements which are the most important when you start. But before putting the color, just think with you there. Just what is the most important? Do you think when you only start?
Idea.
Before the start or in the beginning?
In the beginning.
Yes, so we've got idea, goals, brainstorming, all these things. Yeah. Would you circle them in red?
Just put a letter A.
Because they
Oh,
might
yeah.
be
Yeah,
shared,
that's
they might be
easier.
shared with other.
Let's put a letter A next to the beginning. So idea,
Brainstorming, even experience, I think, at this stage.
goal,
Yeah.
goals, fields, team.
Budget.
Budget, yeah. That's one, yeah.
Beginning and then you already know the project things, I think,
Yeah.
at this stage.
Isn't risk something that you should take up really quickly?
Not very practical.
Sorry?
There will be a risk assessment always, but practical.
Maybe a commissarium for the team.
Communication, I think, is always just
Yeah.
something at the beginning, isn't it?
Okay. Even the objectives, contract, okay. I'll give you, I think it's saying I already know which group. Prioritization.
Okay. Other things you see there, or?
Sometimes they come on board during, but yeah.
I think it would be in two phases, for example,
Yeah.
A and B.
Yeah. What about responsibility?
Now we put everything in A.
Everything is important,
Yeah.
and nothing is important.
But they can be reusable again, A, B, and C.
Yeah.
Responsibility is on all phases, I think.
Then, So I will just jump at the end. So call it C at the end. C.
Another color.
Well,
Yes.
or just put a circle, you know, C with a circle. So really at the end, really at the end.
When the project is finished or...
When you think the project is finished, even if you need to research it, but still, when it's really finished.
Yeah.
The launch.
And the party, not to forget.
Yeah, that's very important.
The launch is just carrying out.
You're launching, the project is completed.
Yeah.
I think you're going to launch. Okay.
That's because the launch could be one or two things. It could be the product or whatever it is,
Yeah.
or it could be the launch of the project itself, which is
Yeah,
start.
can be both.
So it could be the start or the end,
Yeah.
depending on what you launch.
The survey will write it, I think, at the end. So we should survey, you know, the production of a survey after the launch, so that we get feedback
Survey.
from the
That's it.
from the users.
Yeah.
The best part.
That's an important part.
What letter we put in for the end?
Ah.
Oui, sont un peu accomplis. Relative views, ils ont relative views.
Documentation goes in the middle and even
Yeah, reports at the end.
That could be, it also in the middle and it's hard of it, but
Durant et à la fin. Tu peux le refaire ça. Si les identifiés, au début, durant et à la fin.
Le projet, c'est justement
Ouais,
avec
responsibility.
Windows updates.
And there is one stuff I need from you.
Yeah.
There's something
I think it's
called...
very hard.
yeah, you need to know what you're going to.
Yeah.
Oh, the project license.
Where the limits are.
Yeah, what is... Well, I mean, that's beginning and ending, which is quite obvious. What is, and you know it by experience, what is always evolving, always changing. For instance, maybe maybe you might have, you know, let's say the planning is, that's an example, the planning is when you're a PM, you know, project manager, you know that you need to reevaluate, you need to reassess your Gantt chart, for instance. Which are the things which are always
The requirements,
changing.
Issues, maybe.
issues and
Then you just find out either you put a C or whatever, just to focus on that point. If you think that's always evolving, that you know it, this changing.
modifications.
Yeah, it's always coming. So it's on the project, it's always evolving. So issues log for sure. And in the stuff here,
So we'll put C to anything that
So put C,
changes
put-
as we carry on.
yeah, changes, carry out changes.
Modifications.
Stakeholders could be changing. Sometimes the risks could be changing. The action points, issues, all of these are changing, evolving.
Always the owner or
Put C next to these.
C, yeah.
C next to all these.
Can find the issues.
we have an A of risks here.
Tegen
Ja.
die inkouting is
But
heel...
of course, if it's put it in here, the risk can change. There's always an owner.
Yes,
If there are not, they can change the direction, which often happens.
Meetings, the indications are changing.
What about
Je kunt er wel mee doen, dat kan online heb je.
I think
It goes in all stages.
yeah.
A, B, C.
Yeah.
question was pretty, I would say, what is always ever changing from before beginning and end? What is always changing? Clearly, risk analysis, guide chart, action policy issues are always changing. Things. Okay. So that would be a project. So in terms of task element, you can see you have defined in a timeline what are the priorities. That's good for the moment. So I will help the others. I know this is common sense. It's just like after we need to see how we could use the features, wiki, forum and stuff to solve some of it. And at the end, I tell you, it will be about how to have a basic structured outline for the wiki that could focus on the project. How does a project should be, what are the main chapters that you should have in the wiki page for projects? So in a way, it's what you are doing normally with, if you know PMP or kind of ETL or Prince2, whatever, you get a specific kind of documentation, but maybe you want to do it more using only a slide. In using, I would say, a wiki and maybe combine it with other elements like form, whatever, in fact. So how do you control, for instance, the input of questions? For instance, normally today you get the emails you receive or your phone calls. So maybe you want to put all those things into either a Jira ticket system that's for later, or maybe use forum, for instance, for questions. That's what we're going to see afterwards.
Yeah, I mean, this is a key one, isn't it? Like the status. It's a kind of, what's the status of the project at any one time? I mean, whether you call that this through an issues log or status report. So that, for instance, if the project manager has to give an account to the sponsor, or whatever, they'll say, well, this is where we are. This problem, that problem, this risk is being managed. This milestone is being achieved or missed or has been postponed. So that would be a key thing, I guess, of collaboration. You need to be able to get that information.
That's what I say, the shift mindset to see how you could use, because I know it's really hard. It's another way of working.
Yeah.
But it's common sense. That's it. By the way, if you need a coffee, I mean,
oh, that's why.
That's why. I mean, if you see this, take a break. You know?
I couldn't get the coffee and into the thing.
Good. That's it for the moment. I'll check the others, guys.
Yeah. The main thing that jumps to my mind though is that we couldn't use it to try and run the whole project. You know, sometimes you don't want to repeat things. You don't want to do a whole set of things here and try and run the project to different places. And because it's a closed system, so it's just about EURES people.
Yeah.
You can't use it to store everything that you need partners to have access to, or even people in the pairs. So it's kind of, it's a great communication.
You get the point. That's the thing, because I'm trying to. Because we are used to we are imposed with emails to work, and we're forgetting that we're human. So we need to find, of course, the best team I've been working with are working in what I call a war room. So there is allocated time, and they have, let's say, 2 months for a project. So if you work in engineer building stuff, you get this kind of room where with everything is there in the room, because the screen size, and that's based on user experience, is too small to view the content. We are special though, 200 degrees. You have this in a room, and people interact closely, in fact. Here what we try to do is to see if online tools could help to collaborate. It's not the tools that make you collaborate, it's yourself, but the way you want to work, in fact.
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to do for the workspace. That's an experience.
Yeah, you've got to have as much to hand when if something's missing.
Guys, you're allowed to get a coffee. Don't let Ralph.
No, ignore it.
Because it's time, huh?
Yeah.
11:15. So you're ready. Mais dis, on ne présente maintenant.
Non, par contre, j'ai demandé à Simon de placer vos voix. Je veux juste dire, trouver un speaker. J'en ai un de là.
C'est quoi les hubs?
the number of into this equipment, or is it not pick the one that the noise they're doing something to get?
So you never
to
find
find out
no one can remember to
and now also there's something my kids when they're doing trade dance, so I was taking the whole dance having my camera still and then controlling to the iPad just to learn different setups. But I want to do this.
Comment tu me rappelles du code couleur?
Je les ai cliqués sur le...
Also like it's
Ah là, j'étais... On est ici, on fait les couleurs?
Non, non, on va rester là-bas, je pense. Il y a la grande table, on a mis le picture dessus.
Mais je vais revenir ici.
professional approach.
Mais je vais prendre note des couleurs,
They can
comme
be
ça.
streamed to the next day. You can just plug into the internet, and this will be then also I can just stream in the OBS, like here on YouTube, as streaming service, so to load the streaming service, and then get your YouTube email.
En is dat een nul of nee? Een nul of een overal.
I guess. Yeah. No, that's one of the things I'm still working on before the whole coding involved. But combining this with all these things is what I used to do that during training my I wrote technology, but then okay, what this and this. I wrote textbooks. So it's and this you should see maybe more based on different methods or different exchanges. Basically, you've got the thing there if you want to do. You can also use Sure, yeah, I'm really interested in that. It would be no problem. I knew that we were exchanging with it, as you mentioned on the presentation, that you were like all the process and the legal things that we and also you have got documents online, to send like a site or something like that. For the everything but
She's 10 months now, and she's walking.
Whoa! Okay, now you have to rearrange your... I told her, yeah, then things become dangerous.
But you know, since Monday, she's really walking long distance.
Yeah.
She lets go and
Yeah.
crosses the room.
Once that goes, yeah.
Can't believe it.
You can imagine you're standing, you think like it's normal, but it's just some
Yeah,
question.
she
And
got
then-
her balance. Yeah, exactly.
And then they start really, so
And they-
funny one day.
one day they get it.
Yeah. And then they just have fun by just walking on and going.
Yeah, and she's so proud.
Yeah.
You know, when she reaches her goal, I applaud. And she's like, thank you for your applause.
Things go so fast.
Yeah.
In April, we'll be here in Brussels for 2 days. Family. So really had fun. I remember the last time when we were all together in Brussels. So she was very 6 or 7 months. So that's 6. But that goes fast. Before you know it, she really knows.
Oh, so cute.
That's okay.
And what about the second one?
Yes, sure.
Still in the plan?
Still
possible. Okay, I'm there. Lake, guys.
Innovation. Yeah. All right.
working groups
I didn't see it at
are
first.
the coffee.
First I thought I saw a dress with an arm.
Yeah, at
But
first
now-
I thought I saw a man.
I
So
return to
I
this
have
way of coffee for the
I need a break.
I really enjoy it. If you have time, it's a really nice way. If you have fresh beans, it's a very delicious way.
Yeah, I also only have one of these at home.
Yeah. And now we bought a bigger one. Probably you only can take a certain amount.
Yeah, that's true.
Like Mina?
I had one for 3 cups. It's just my doses for breakfast. And there are some friends.
Yeah.
Can get busy.
Yeah, I saw there are also some of those who are not looking like that. They have on top, they have like small.
Yes. Yeah.
Where you can put your cup on it, and then it runs directly in the cup.
And it's I tried the classic ones. And I tried a lot of Swedish
Yeah.
Which were better?
Yeah, the aluminium. That's
The original one.
Yeah, they heat up quite fast. So coffee sticks. There's a reason why these are on the market for so long.
But I think they changed the factory from Italy to somewhere else.
Yes.
And there was, well, we just had those in the newspapers, and then there was a big discussion about that.
Yeah.
And now I think they changed it back.
Again.
I think, yeah. Because I thought they would have sent it to China because it's cheaper there. But then it was like, yeah, you cannot send this to China. You cannot build this in China. It loses its originality.
But I'm not sure with the aluminium.
Yeah, maybe that aluminium is from China. It's just like there's a brand, a German brand, I think they have more or less the same. They make monitors, screens for computers. And it's just everything is made in Japan or China.
So we are now with the touch.
Then they send it to Germany,
Now
they put it together.
But just but if it's made in Japan, it's
Yeah, of course.
I know.
It's the same with the plants, BMF. There's one, I think, a very big factory in Germany and one in China.
What factory?
The one that were made in Germany, they have a special logo on the bottom. The one from China, they have
So they become better.
Just for the explanation.
Yeah.
Address?
A dress with an arm.
Yes?
You did?
But I think then you also
Yes.
have quality issues because the
Ah.
one from Germany is better than the one.
You didn't see the copy.
When you see this, you take a break. Yes. And then I saw the copy.
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
Oh, it's only, it's like in the dress made.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, I know.
Oh,
just to get down.
Yes, the concert.
There's always tomorrow.
Okay, Davide, is everybody here?
Yeah.
Okay. So During the first exercise, that might have been difficult for the groups to define. There's a reason why you are doing this, not because of magic, whatever. You had a break, and now we're going to continue a bit further. By the way, as mentioned to one of the group projects, decide of who might be one of your speakers for later, because you need to share in groups. So that's the next point. You take back your information on your flip chart, and you will get from the facilitator post-it. So there is colors, it's color-based. And now think about the features that you have in a workspace. You can have a wiki, a file repository, you have a forum, message board, you have a calendar. List of members is out of scope, and online chat is always there, so it's out of scope. So based on those four features, you take all the line you put and say, okay, that is, I would say, where we should put that stuff there inside. So now you have, I would say, what we do it in 15 minutes? Or we need more for the other groups? Here it can be done in
We have
5 minutes?
5 minutes.
5 minutes.
We will link this tab and the next one.
Okay. So you just put the post-it, let's say, and that's with the facilitator, like with the 5-10 minutes. And then afterwards, what you do is this. You take back the one which are related to the wiki workspace, this one, with a task, and then think about how should the wiki workspace should be structurized. What will be the main kind of pages based on that wiki? And think about kind of priorities, of course. How would you structurize that part? For the ones that might have time, you can do the same exercise for file repository and for the forum, and not calendar, but for those two elements here also. Why I'm asking you this? Simply because we would like to have an initial structure, and that's the exercise of the workshop, of how does, for each of the categories, group of interest, project, working group, would be the basic initial structure of any workspaces. So, first of all, what you do is take back the list, and you will get the post-its. You just jot all the post-its based on the task, and you just put the colors. And second, you take the list of all related to the wikis and start to make a structure outline of it. 25 minutes in total. Okay.
Why should be back? Because now it's better because we don't.
Okay. So based on the facilitator, that's why we do agile. We need to have a swap. A swap of persons. So one of you randomly will be out of his group and will join another group.
It's important to have a different point of view on the things that have been written, to change the mindset,
So we need one volunteer from each group to leave his group, his or her group.
And come in another group.
But you will join another group and with very friendly people.
So you will be moving, Christo will be moving.
Okay.
Another one.
For the project, who will be moving?
Michael will be.
Okay.
So either Michael or Christoph come with us, and I don't know the other group. When are we coming back here?
In 25 minutes.
So 5 to 12?
Yeah, just put the timer. That's better.
Okay.
Where are you meeting? Here?
Yeah.
Michael or Neves, who wants to come to the working group? There's a working group. You come with us? Okay.
But is there any other people in the group or only?
They're joining, but I missed the post-it. So.
We need our trees.
Sorry guys, I'm looking for the book.
Sorry.
Maybe you can brief quickly about choosing.
Decisions, points, and advice as how the project is carried out. And then what's what the goals the project have experience from the risks, responsibility, time frame, and also from launch and evaluation and lesson documentations. As you see, it's not really structured.
It was a brainstorming
Yeah.
we started with.
Yeah.
Structure.
Yeah.
Everywhere from Spain. From Spain,
Denmark.
You can
go ahead. Yes.
You are from the beginning.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. So, someone catches
For example, lunch with calendar here and calendar here.
Oh, yeah, so the different words
Yes,
where it
yes.
should be.
It's only to put where it goes.
Okay.
Baby pool color is
I forgot what does this mean, prepositor?
Sorry?
Prepositor, what is that?
Basically, with all the elements that you find here, what kind of features should fit the best for those information?
Repository like
The
a list.
A list, yeah, okay,
Yes,
okay.
it's like a
Okay, it was just a word in English. Yes, it was a word in English. Fine.
They're coming from where?
Yes, yes. Because I'm doing two things at the moment.
And to recover in the wiki to describe this.
for me, the wiki is not clear yet.
No, that's why I'm.
It's because I see that some of the other features are also part of the
I think it's the knowledge base.
Yeah.
knowledge base.
Like lesson learned.
I would bring
We can, like, for example, definitions, you know, it's like the knowledge base.
Yeah.
It's like Wikipedia.
Which one?
The Wikipedia.
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 In fact, it's taken from there.
Yeah, because
Which means what you write there, you can trust it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's just to know the wiki would be like the text, the whole text
The whole,
of the knowledge. And then the files are like
knowledge base.
added to that. Yeah, but so the wiki is the base, then the files are
This is a discussion, but it must be taken. I'm just brainstorming.
I think, for example, we could put in the forum we exchange experience. This, for example, no?
Yeah.
And then
How's it going?
I don't know, the calendar goes with
We had something time. Yeah, time there.
Here and here.
action point, like main main issues to...
Did you mean milestones? Action points?
Milestones, yes. So,
I think you meant decisions.
When I say I used to have,
Because I did see.
I also participated.
This more, what I understood, this is more kind of documentation.
this may be
Not the
5.
way they do.
Whereas here, the milestone is more the calendar. This
Yes.
one, as defined, those are documentation.
For instance, there was one on each car. So they were in a big room. The guy in the organization,
Maybe this or
That's what it is.
this,
That's one, okay.
And the forum, and then is a 5.
Do you work with collaboration tools or not at all?
when you start,
Do you use Wiki
it
or
says, okay, I give you a situation, and then you start mixing. Then you realize, but you cannot cross the line. So there's a line. So it becomes a
because
game.
it's very different, all countries work differently. We're trying to see how each country is working to see.
But of course,
But
we
everyone
are
sees
using
Yeah.
Zerland, etc., for those things as tools.
Yeah.
Like you're the producer,
And this is new.
Actually, the
producer.
decision about milestones.
But that's why I think I could use
Similar,
this
yes.
space to
There was
connect
another
my
one
group
where
and
basically you sit down by the
manage
fireplace.
locate your days together.
That's the goal. Because in on the side, we can also not brainstorm inside the meetings. But then we resist to impose. We want you guys to say what are your needs. And you say, okay, we will get those guys. Because
It should be somewhere.
ours is top down. It's not. That's it's top down on both sides.
Yes. And I will introduce it to
For
the
me.
and Michael is speaking. So he knows.
But also in the
who I'm
wiki, I think.
collaborating with it.
As general project, you need to have
Maybe,
the wiki, the goal,
learn them how to.
There's no right
and
answer.
start with your goals.
And in your case, because of which one we say as an IT developer, it's going to see that, okay,
There's no
in IT you can have whatever development kind of approach. Here's to see how can you communicate better with business.
Yes, this document.
Because often, it's like a double down communication.
There's no
We use the same word, but
Yes,
it's
there's
not-
that layer in
like
between.
business always ask, is it ready? Is it tested? So in IT perspective, yes, we need to test. But for the business,
Implementation.
can I use it? Can I give it to the customers and it's working? And it's different language. So.
Risks is really important. Should be
Yes,
fine.
the other for agreement.
Yes.
Yes.
Because you have to discuss the risk.
Yeah.
Yes, the forum and the wiki also.
Yeah.
Can I
find
Because once you know the risk, you put it in the wiki. You say this kind of project has this.
This is costs.
And
And this
then-
Everything we share is completely
And then the forum, because you have to discuss.
To make a report from yesterday and today back to the national office and
testing is a calendar.
When you create a wiki, can you put the forum or the handle of the wiki?
This is wiki.
Testing.
I think this
You
is
can, but it's not the purpose.
The calendar for testing and for launch.
But inside the forum, you can create different areas.
Yes.
And for the evaluation. I think
Inside the
that
wiki.
all this must be.
Link to a special forum.
Yes. But do it that way.
but also documentation for evaluation.
In the forum, there is a discussion.
As you can see, you reply in person. Whereas the wiki is always the kind of content page.
Okay.
Not for me, this would be all documentation where you store it. And actually,
Yeah,
that
the
you
problem
do
with the broadcast is I wanted to exit the speaker. Because you couldn't do the DirectX.
And my killer, I'm using Windows 8 on the Mac.
Then you have a file repository or not?
Yeah. This calendar, yes, which is this one.
I think next time from Denmark part I will use the Lego approach to brainstorm.
This is agenda.
Lego?
This is start decision one. My
I
words.
will try to see, because I've got some colleagues, when first I
Build
have,
it.
which are using Lego.
Sorry?
Yeah, I have been in a workshop in Denmark where we used the Lego to build something.
I think you have more or less the map in your brain, so you may work.
Yeah, yes, but there are more into it, but it's a little bit of time. Costs. Must be by experience, wiki, store.
By the way, there's two words which are really shy in all.
No. I hear them mumbling.
Can't see those there.
No, I was listening 1 ear here, 1 ear here.
I put this for the budget. Because like
Yeah.
somehow you have the budget, you put it fine.
Yeah.
I don't know what now.
But it's
Yeah.
I would like to read a few minutes.
You think the target group is a wiki?
no target group is the
No, that's a calendar. It's a strange color.
yes, also in the wiki, because when you have a project, you need to put in the goals, the target group, because it's
Not everything, yes.
Yes.
Now I
So
understand, yeah.
you need more or less the structure of
Yeah.
the project to be in the wiki, and then the files you add, and then
Yeah.
the forum discussion,
Yeah.
and the calendar or something. Well, the calendar.
But this is maybe analyzed also a wiki?
Yeah, this is where I did here.
The brainstorm, maybe.
No,
The analyze.
But
I
it
live in
depends
an
if
apartment.
you are thinking of brainstorming is one moment, but analyzing the final result of the analysis.
For me, it's a milestone.
And the analysis is the beginning.
Yeah.
The brainstorm analysis is the beginning part.
Should it be calendarized?
Yeah, it could be.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
Because you can decide, yeah, you have an idea. Okay, let's see. You have a start
Both
thinking.
things are related. Both things are related. The idea and the brainstorming.
This is the discussion and the graduate.
Yeah. Yes, yes. This is the work that
Consensus?
we discussed a lot. We, in a group you can agree, but in the end you don't know which have agreed.
The Swedish are very good at consensus. It takes time sitting around. Yes.
Yeah, very good to have that rumor. That's not always the point. No, but you can go into a project group and you have consensus, but in the end, I would say there is a, if they still say so, the best part in an organized organization would be Swedish with their consensus, but the Finns with their decision making. Let's start.
Both of them.
Yeah, because we can actually be in consensus, but on the way we now why did we say that?
Yeah.
But the Finns, if they say, okay, let's go for it, and they do it. Because I experienced that the next meeting, the Finns come. We had done this and this. Until you start. But it's really learning the lesson.
Yeah.
So the consensus is maybe nothing you can. Lesson learned, of course. But the wiki can't be full of descriptions of things are doing like this. Bulgarian are doing like this. And there is no typical thing, typical Danish.
No.
Just leave it. So this will be in the
Yes.
Just put it here.
Question though, because now we can start the second exercise. Yes. Defining the structural outline of, I see orange vision calendar. So, do you have a kind of structure for the calendar, or because you can do a bit of the structure, a bit of the form if you want. So, how would you structure the basic structure for a workspace social project for the features, which is a wiki, which is the forum, for instance? Because there's a categories of trade-off discussions, for instance. And maybe also
This was reflecting
based on what you just put down. A basic structure that could be very good.
For the wiki.
And for this, maybe you can remove one more.
This is just
to
yeah.
see
Nice, you got some kind of
So we can put the wiki structure and the calendar structure. The wiki would be first the goal, I think, then the target group.
One more. Super magnet force. So if you to define, I would say basic. Let's say first, even if you're lost, that's okay. Working, it's not a very good. But just to
I'm
see.
setting up
If it is a project, what would be the structure that you think for the wiki? And I can see there that calendar is.
From there, you see the goal, the target group, the base, all this.
And really, just by experience,
this must be your favorite.
long, big structure, can you really go 4 points? Yeah, because people are really, to the point, so you don't need to have a huge structure, Think about the people, You get your word and you need to open
Oh my God,
it.
that's not something I would put
There's a project about, maybe you're who's part of it, you can think about it.
You don't know what you can learn.
I have no idea what they are teaching me, so.
If you are jumping in a project,
It's
a newcomer,
his
what
job.
would be the basic information that you would have maybe on the wiki or in the calendar? That's it. Make it simple.
something like that, for example.
Yeah,
Something like that.
No, but it's
basic minimum,
right.
minimum structural outline that you have on the wiki and go further in the parts, into a project.
There was a vacancy and both
You guys
applied, only one got it. And we say,
No, but I think
we're always saying it because it's really fun. Sometimes you hear politicians speaking.
you need to target someone, you need to examine the risk, and then you need to evaluate.
So there was this
And definitely decisions point. Where you take decisions.
Yes, yes. And
he was
milestones.
talking about the person.
Yeah.
He was talking about illegal immigrants.
So you can do this.
And he goes, and this
That's all we need.
guy came in.
So you can read your...
Me, yeah. Me with the worst
Are you from Mexico or from Spain?
Yes, I'm Spain from Spain.
So
I don't remember from where.
he was banned from
Which city?
Yeah, from where?
I don't know for
Yeah,
It's
from
a
which
big
city?
country.
Which city from Victoria is in the Basque Country?
No.
It's
Do
from
you remember I
Yeah, yeah,
have to
yeah.
go to Bilbao
Yeah.
instead of your colleagues?
Yeah.
And what is the whole city?
Victoria.
Victoria.
No, Victoria.
hilarious.
Everyone
Yeah.
could see the
Victoria.
Victoria.
Is
Yes,
it small?
it's small, but it's the capital of the Basque Country.
Okay.
The rest
Hey,
well
no,
known
this is
as Bilbao or San Sebastian, but
Yes.
it's the third one and it's the capital.
Okay. Okay.
Victoria Secret.
Yeah.
So,
What did you say first?
so in the week,
So in the wiki.
in the week, you
Yeah.
have to put
The description. Yeah.
He's a real.
It's,
He's an extreme. He's actually.
What you say? Structure.
the structure.
Go.
No,
the wiki. We must make the structure in the wiki.
Yeah.
And it's not going to the description.
No, but we don't
It's
need
a
to put the wiki.
We have another one.
One is to go,
Yeah.
and what a goal is, but we don't.
Yeah.
We only put that in the wiki. We need the goal, we need the target, we need the milestone.
Yeah.
It's a bit like going along.
And then the milestones, that the one has to include
Yes. No, that's crucial.
Yeah. That includes every decision points.
Yeah.
You don't leave this before we have had the brainstorm or you have a risk decision.
Yeah.
This book.
This also includes reports. But if we only should have 5, 6 points,
It's better.
you
you can set up a goal without setting up a report.
Look at the reaction of the.
Normally, you start the project,
Yeah.
you need to do something about something, you have a goal, and then you examine the target a bit more, and then you
Look,
put
this
the
is what you do the
milestones,
book.
the analyzing, the risk, analyze the testing, the launch, the evaluation, and then at the end, after the milestone, the risk.
You agree?
Missing something?
It's okay, I was looking also for the wiki.
Yeah.
It's descriptions, definitions, stuff like that. I try to look for a template, but it's not very detailed. But it's the main, those are the main points.
It's hard to find, huh?
Just a template,
But there are 10
What do you
points.
think? What do you think?
Because milestones involve almost every height.
It's common sense, so it's what you think should be. Just be in the mindset you are discovering. Would it be enough for you as a newcomer support, or do you miss something, for instance?
I think I would need, if I am, I haven't done any project in life. I came here, I think I need more details. I think they are, I think they give me some information about the risk and may, not about the risk, but about taking into account the risk. For example, and these kind of things, I think that in the project is important, the budget, also to think about the budget. But, you know.
This is essential.
Here, yes.
You don't go for there must be text under whatever you do. You don't go further without passing this decision point. That should be involved in the text.
One input for you, don't forget that the wiki is current always. So current, meaning that when you go today, you will go on that link and you will see milestone, you will see the content. Next week, you go back.
That's something new.
No, what is new? You will just see what is at the moment. So it's always current.
Okay, so it's always updated.
Yeah, that's why there's
Give me his number.
That's how it's not the estimation, it's really current. That's why you use the wiki.
Okay.
Where in documentation of planning you might say version 1, version 2.
Yeah.
But in wiki you just press save and you get the current version. You can always compare different versions, but from version 1 to version 1. You always look for the last one. Don't look for. You want to have an idea at the beginning what was decided and today. That's the purpose of the wiki in it.
I'm thinking
just an input.
But it could be under here, lesson learned, so all the way through.
Yes. While you're doing it, because lessons learned in a typical project is done at the really end. But in fact, you want to. How do you log lessons learned during the project?
Yeah. Yes, exactly.
So that's a cycle of the wiki. That is, when I say current, that's one version of current. You can log anything. Just input for the wiki.
Combine this, the lesson learned with tips.
Maybe,
Tips,
yeah.
for example.
Could be.
Yes, because this is something that you can have it covered with some tips to take into account when you're designing your project.
Instead of this.
No,
it's okay.
Here.
One more
Like,
step.
one more step.
Excellent.
Good ideas. Tips.
Because this is more like at the end, what you reach, but something
Is the one for the project.
How would the project?
Because it's another wiki.
Remember to do
That's
that.
our project.
Don't forget, blah, 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 blah.
Because each project is different. The tips, I mean, that's the why does some project fail or not. There are a lot of things, but you put for this project and say tips that we know we're working that way. But how do we say the way we work? We use maybe SharePoint or where do you look? So this could be Insight, for instance. That's where you put the tips. It's perfect. That will be the wiki, and because we have time, seeing the focus on the calendar, I think Range's calendar. You would log information into the calendar, right? All information. Question I have for you: Can those information be put in a wiki? And if yes, how? Or not? Not a good idea. That's.
I didn't understand. Put the calendar into the wiki?
Well, that's in the calendar that you want to put the milestone. Everything. Those are dates.
Yeah.
Do you think it would be wise to put this into a wiki style, this information?
Yes. Because calendar are like, they are milestones. So you can also put it in a wiki. You cannot calendarize everything. You cannot, in one project, I don't know, the testing moment maybe 2 weeks, and for another 1 year. It depends on the kind of project, but the testing must be there always. So
The
you
calendar
can.
must represent that suppose on the wiki.
Okay, that makes sense for the calendar part. Now, I am not looking for the way where you mix. Here I can see you mix two kind of features.
Yeah.
So you are mixing the files with
the forum. Yes, because you exchange experience in the forum, but then at the end you can save a file about this experience that you have.
This could be interesting to share to the group, that where you see that exchange of experience is mixing those two things. If you can just put a strike through, this could be interesting to exchange. So the other groups will maybe compare to their own workspace. This could be used, because the goal, of course, is that it's not only what you define for the workspace, but also see if other elements from the other workspace could be interesting in the workspace. So maybe you can mention that stuff. just for exchange of experience, that you combine the forum with the file and explain it during the presentation. This one. Then here you're mixing, so yellow is the wiki and the forum.
Yes.
So what do you do here?
The same.
So you log information through the forum?
Yeah, when you're analyzing the risk, you may be in the forum checking it with other colleagues, and then when you get to something that to a final analysis, and then you can put that in also in the
Okay, that part. It would be nice to mention there.
Get to take in information that increase your experience and then.
So if I rephrase, you're using the forum when you will explain the basic rules. That's where you capture the information. So the forum is a capture tool you're using.
Yeah.
Okay. Then you dispatch to wherever it should be. Okay.
At least one way to.
So forum is A and this is B.
Yeah.
And here, so.
Yeah, that's why I'm just based on what I'm suffering. I cannot influence. I just
No, but I think it's the way they were thinking at the beginning. I wasn't here, but they were like, what at the beginning, what doing, and the risk, you talk about them at the beginning and during, at the end you get some lesson learned, and you put it on the risk and everything.
It's from you, the name?
That must be full use of this new system, other experience. It's a new puzzle for you, and then you document it with your own experience.
This one?
That's the week, this week, at least for Sweden.
Oh, yes.
The week has been done, and we never
No.
try to say, don't you have best practice? Yes, I come back to you in a week. Is it a week? Okay, next week. But people are doing a great job to share it.
Yeah.
That's the whole.
The idea for the puzzle is a puzzle. The wiki is a puzzle. We have to finish the puzzle, but then we get some other pieces, and then we rebuild the puzzle.
Yeah, take the next step all the time. Into the one.
How would you use another feature called the online chat in the project? How would you use it? What do you think you would use it?
I guess there must be a list of you
Provided.
Yeah, and a green lamp or whatever that someone is.
Yes, exactly.
Then, yeah, and then how did you do this in Spain? And you just chat with someone. You had this idea, do you have experience? You're taking information online while working on the project, or it must. If you talk project, that would be the way to do it. You can of course also talk about the project we did 2 years ago.
Evidence.
Taking this project to chat this. We have chat in our press. It's a great tool just to very quickly ask a very simple question and get to a very simple question. Thank you, and then we do that.
How can you know the members that were part of a project when it's already closed? Because let's say you get one project, project version 1, those were the people involved in it. And project, still the same one, but this is version 2. That's not the same people. Where would you log this information? The people that were part of the version 1 of the project.
Files. That must be the way to search through the file by free text. Engineers. A lot of answers, of course. That must be, otherwise it's, the extranet today is not bad, but it's really hard to search through the list, you're going to find the document down there.
Very useful in the network chat, for example, is the chat room. Do you use the network chat?
That's all people.
Yeah. The chat room is very useful because it's available to everyone, to every country, so you get to you get a lot of projects, beginning of projects that simply put in there, oh, there's someone, blah, 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 blah. And someone can tell you something. Not only that you are chatting with only one person, but to have space there to enter. I found it very, very interesting. At the beginning, I didn't know that everyone was there. And suddenly I see that someone says something. Oh, okay. So, and I asked every, how is this organized? Every country can. Oh, yes. So it's great to have one space in the chat where everyone can enter.
Okay, that's going to be a requirement for later. Get a lot of this information.
I think one of the things we will mention here is a backup plan. Because if something goes wrong, you will lose all the project.
Yes. Yeah.
And
We've
this is
forgotten that. Back up.
Back up.
I'm not saying that that's quite right. For me, decision points, you never go further if you don't take all in all the parameters. So the project might have this direction, but it might go that way after the decision point, or this way. Not decreasing, but it can take another new input. But of course, yeah, there's another word for impact.
They are projects alive. Not like if you take a new decision, it may change. Yeah.
To make a phone.
Yeah.
When you carry on inside the studies,
It was good, this exercise, because I didn't quite understand the beginning. So it was nice to talk about. Yeah. No.
the features are the features.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, is there something that is always there? And it's not, you don't see how it comes to that point and how it, you only see like a picture. But then the forum is more the history of the art.
You're a part of which one? You were part of the
group of interest. I was thinking now about the online chat. Well, this online chat, it would be interesting to have this chat room where people from other workspaces can also
Det är kanske små
I was like thinking the other one, yes, people from other workplaces.
That's why
chatting
we need
online
in the
with-
pipeline.
Yes.
We're going to work on that stuff, but for next years.
Even you don't see the other workspaces, but you know that people who is working, like you say, people who is active is in the workspace. So people active from other places may have ideas also.
Iva, tista' ssir technically Iva. Eżatt tista' ssir. Ma fimtek xedu reġajni.
Agreements tonight.
Għal-data reporting, għal-data reporting. Biex jek jgħidu sma rrid nizidek il-preferenza. Ma jagħmilx one biex inkella dawk li għandhom il-preferenza u għandhom tiru ma jtellawx. Peress il-punt. So, waqt il-data reporting. Le, imma fil-data reporting tiġi filter. Filter kemm fuq occupation kemm fuq esperjenza.
Of course.
Jiġifieri jekk tiddefine your accountant one month u jiena għandi preferenza ta' accountant 0 months, fil-data reporting ma nitlax. Allura tistiġi accountant 0 months. Għalli jekk jien għandi accountant 0 months. So, l-esperjenza tiġi consideration għal-filtering. Iva, le, għamil tajjeb zero, xarkun għammin għandu dik il-preferenza, mentri għandux esperienza, bil-forsi tiġi għek s-sejta reporting. Bil-forsi tiġi għek għaxi kif. Le, bil-fors, għaxi kif sejta reporting, għamil selection ta' nis. Jek jizit nis, preferenza ta' account, jek nid-defini one month, minimum, għata barra,
There you go.
Thank you.
Comme ça?
Non, pour l'instant.
You have to be with two. One of the yes, the other one has to do things on YouTube. So you open on YouTube.
Okay, we can restart then. So, for the three teams, may I have the main speaker or speakers standing up? So you've got the workspace, group of interest, and project. Okay. So the exercise was simply to see the kind of tasks you could do by kind of workspace and see how you could combine kind of features, wiki with forum plus chat maybe, and see what you conclude. And the point is really to get a first idea of how you would see the initial structure template for those workspace. That's the purpose of this workshop. So I will leave the floor to the group of interest. Maybe you can say how was the mechanism of reflection to define the task, not to explain the task,
but to see how you would use the features and how you would see the first structure of the wiki or more, for instance.
Well, when we were talking about the possibilities of the workspace, we noticed that we had to define ourselves a lot of themes, because when we had to take the thing about, this is not a nice slide, about job offers. Well, what is in it in job offers? You can adjust a lot of information, and well, when we were busy thinking about it, we came to specific job offers, which EURES advisors would bring to the attention of others. We came to employer-related questions related to a vacancy. So, for instance, you have a vacancy and you ask, well, is this employer, is this a trustworthy employer? Can we deal with him without problems? And we came to job offers in a group, like we want to start a project with our IT staff or job seekers in the Netherlands. We don't use them anymore, and maybe there's interest in another country for this group. Or otherwise, we have a lot of vacancies and we are looking for the staff, for the job seekers. So, and when we were thinking about this, about the job office, we also came to the idea about, well, when you want to promote a job vacancy, why shouldn't you promote a CV? And that is something that came up also. So when you were starting thinking about this, it develops very quickly, and we noticed that we can't get a real good idea about when where to put information, like is it this wiki or is this something we talk about in a forum without having the wiki at all, or we got mixed up somehow. But anyway, we have thought about a list of tasks we should be able to do. I don't know whether I should mention them all, and we have divided in what we think is wiki worth or more like the forum. And what was the green one? That was the repository, the file repository. In these three categories. And then we started to think about, well, how should we do this? And also there we came with a lot of well, different ideas. We noticed that link and wiki. We know that wiki and the forum are, in our opinion, very much alike and maybe overlapping each other. We also had one in the group that was focused on you should have the same structure in every working space, so that people can easily know where to find the information. But on the other hand, it is nice to have freedom in your working space, so you can do whatever you want to do. And also an important thing was that how do you know that information is actually not current anymore? How do you know you still have, there's still a response needed? How can you build this in? That was also one of the items that appeared. For instance, for the vacancies, we thought about the structure of a list of vacancies where attention is asked for, to define, I don't know exactly, this, a common something to write them.
Yeah, a common way to write them. Like
okay.
When you said
yes.
You should put
a certain structure, so one who is in the group can easily find his way between the vacancies. And that's also for the CVs. For the employers, we were thinking about something more tricky. We had the idea of I heard. And in that category you can say, I heard this employer is looking also for other, not only the normal contract, but also for apprenticeships, or but you can also add information like this is a very solid employer. This employer is not familiar in our EURES network, but that needs a little bit attention, because we are also afraid that when you are going to spread news that is not very attractive about an employer, and it comes out, then you have a problem, I think. So it needs to be clear what you can do, and that it is you have some responsibilities in this.
Would you need to divide up by country, the employers?
Yes, maybe. What we noticed is that when you only have 3 or 4 messages alive that are, then you don't need to categorize them, because you in one overview you see everything. But when it's rapidly renewed, then maybe you should categorize. Yeah. And for the sectors, we had a more clear idea about you should mention the sectors where is information about or questions about, and you should within the sector you should also mention the country and the typical surplus information or shortness information. Well, group, do I have to say more?
Yeah, it's the question here about it was in the group of interest.
And what I can see here directly is that there is not a universal structure that could be defined for a group of interest. It's completely open. Now, talking about the disclaimer, of course, because that's linking to the rumors. Be careful of that employer that might be correct at a certain time for a specific country, which might not be the case for another country. So here I can see kind of future issue by rumoring, kind of telling some informations there inside. So there must be some kind of specific kind of guidelines for, if you want to create a group of interest, those are the guidelines, best practice, what you should say or not say, to make it more smooth. Because otherwise it might be not always good to say. The point is not to say bad stuff, it's to help, I would say, the job seekers and employers, of course, and of course the network. Also another point is defining, so for a workspace, for a group of interest, is defining who might be you need to have some kind of gatekeepers identified within a network that can say, because if anyone can say everything, you might go into quite a chaotic situations.
Yeah,
or
I think think that when EURES advisor wants attention for a job vacancy or a CV, then he should be able to ask for it via this group, and he should be able to do it directly. But I can imagine that on the other hand, there must be somebody reading it, and especially the target one. So in that area, there should be something arranged, because how do you know?
Yeah. If I have to make a quick first initial idea about group of interest, I would suggest maybe to start with simply a simple wiki structure and the forum, and we remove calendar part and the file repository at this stage for the starting point. Those two tools, because the way that the EURES advisor are interacting is through the forum. And what is nice with the forum is that you get a date where the request was sent. When you press send, you get the log date about the questions. So maybe for the group of interest, having wiki and the forum should be enough at the starting point.
Yeah, because then you don't need the calendar.
Yeah. Otherwise, you might have a lot of, because it's everyone in the network that can go into group of interest. That would be one quick conclusion at starting point. We could start to use this, and a basic structure based on your feedback would be used for the group of interest. Thank you. So, next group is project.
Yes, we started to list a lot of items that should be in the project, items that are important to take under consideration. And actually, without Mike and I was writing without looking at each other, but more or less we wrote the same things coming from our colleagues in the group. And very soon we ended in discussions when should things be done. And of course, there is a start, and always, because I think you said we haven't written E-plan. Yeah, but we agreed on whenever you do a project, you have to have decisions points or milestones, and you don't go further before you are agreed on the new parameters in and how to go forward. So there might the B-plan be created then. Most projects, I'm not saying I'm right in this, but I have a feeling that, or I think you agree, that most projects have done it, and that's it. But all the lesson learned and things must also be put in an agenda after meetings, but we are so eager to go to the next project, because that's what our agendas are full, but we will never, this arrow here means that it comes back here. And of course, if you don't evaluate, you never learn all mistakes and the good things in the project. So we listed things that should be in wiki, in files and forum and so on. And some points worth mentioning is that we have two of these colors on a couple of items here. And of course, when you're in a project, and when the extranet works fully, you're sitting in the forum room and think, do anyone have experience in this? Let's check the forum. And then you get the idea. And of course, you will forget it if you don't store it. So write it down and store it. And in the decisions points, you have documentations during the project, version 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. So that's why there are two colors here, as well as here on costs. You can get costs and risks. You can get risks from others. You have to take risk on the considerations. Others have learned it. And when you come to Wiki, the headlines there should be lesson learned. And here, the good parts, but also the risks can be written and documented. And of course,
can list a lot of things here that, as we said from the beginning, milestones or decisions points, there are two different words, of course, but it's so important to take discussions together before taking next step. And then we, of course, we ended up in a discussion of consensus, and I think you said that it's typical Swedish. It is, but I mean, consensus is not always that we agree on everything. I mean, from the beginning we have to agree what we agree on as a base. At least my experience is that, especially working with Finns that I admire a lot, that we make decisions, and in Sweden we say, okay, we will do this. The next meeting, the Finns have already done it. We hardly started. So there are a cultural difference, and we have to have very early the discussion for the next step. What are the minimum base we agree on? Group.
So basically for the project part, you would go for a simple, like I understood there, simple structure, basic sort of 5 elements, and you didn't mention something about the tips during the project. What is it?
Yeah, you had a good idea.
Yes, because the project was so different between them that if you want to have a wiki for projects, subject is like difficult to take the whole thing. But when you are doing a project, that you always learn that if you had done this, it would have been better. So this kind of tips to put there, so anyone starting a project take into account, oh, don't forget to do that in case you're thinking of this, or did you think about this? So some tips linking the kind of project you have and what you have to do in that case, something like that, because the projects are so different in between them that a wiki is common for all the projects. It's tips.
Okay, yep, Valentin?
I'd like to ask a question, excuse me, sometimes I speak too much. You've been quite quiet.
You're too quiet, you've been too quiet.
Project management, it's a solved issue in this IT world. Why don't you just take a project management workflow and activities, assignment of duties, and all of them, and implement just the app, because this market is really developed with project management software, free or whatever. It's probably solved. Why we invent it now again?
Well, in the discussions with this group, we try to go and think, and that's the same for the other groups. If you are somebody that just joined to any kind of type of workspace, you should have, I would say, the snapshot of information. We can use, of course, PMP or other approach, which are quite strict informations, but often in a project, you have people which are not project management minded, like are more business.
For project management and project activities.
Practically, I would say that in a project, you might have people which are not at all, do not want to know, I would say, what is the kind of deliverables you have in project management, but just would like to have a status, for instance, but a broad status of elements.
This is what we're doing here?
But that's why we just copy. When you see the target groups, for instance, or tips during the project, those are typically things that you will not find in an official documentation. It's an in-between world. It's an in-between world.
Project did you consider here? Did you have an example in mind?
No, actually, we try to go outside thinking on a special project instead of thinking on elements in project. And I would say this. We didn't have time, shouldn't have time, to take a special model under consideration, but this model is, oops, I'm sure this model is the same as a lot of models.
Would
that
it apply also for an event?
Yeah,
organizing
for an event, for recruiting a special profession or branding, but the thing that you start, you're agreed on a subject, and then you set up an agenda with decisions point. That's the key to success.
For organizing a job day, for example, don't you think we should have more specific kind of structure, like a template really for events? I don't know, it's just an
Yeah,
idea.
we didn't even discuss it, but I see that you can, the base of, I agree halfway with you, but the thing of taking up any project must follow the structure, whatever you go into. And
I think one thing we saw was that there's the limitation of this area where we won't be able to have a structure for every given project because it's too prescriptive.
Well, we
So
can
it
make
could-
templates, for
it's just
instance,
what-
to facilitate the setting up of a new project. We could have some predefined templates.
So
we were just trying to define what are the key things to share when people come into this space, this work area. What are the key things we can share? Not to use it to manage a project because it's unlikely to ever become that simply because of limitations. It won't be the key place to the core document store for the project leader. Probably won't use that because they'll have
Their own
internal
tool.
partners who wouldn't be able to have access and so on.
But I think we agreed on following these decisions points and milestones that what I think EURES have to improve is actually sharing more than you do today. And in these decision points and milestones, that should be you can't go further and learn anything if you don't document it. And what we didn't discuss at all, maybe we did it on purpose, but should there be a leader in the project? Or should it be everyone? Maybe there will be an informal leader, but it can be, that's one of the risks if you don't decide from the beginning how it should be run. Brainstorming is no problem at all, but the definitions on the decision point, okay, we have 500 ideas, we should end up in 50. And then
but normally you will, like you say, always have a kind of informal, formal leader that will be in fact the dispatcher gatekeeper, just to make people work together. So depending of the way of management would be directive or collaborative, but that's true. What I retain from this, because we are lacking time, I'm sorry for this part, is two things. And back to you, Valentin, it's really going to be, I would say, high-level view of key elements. And back to you, of course, is to have key information. That the purpose is really about collaborative part. Officially, we could go into a kind of structure of any official project management. That's not the purpose at this stage. That's one element. The second element also is based on all the projects that will come around. And that's, I would say, exchanges. Like, it would be, I would say, for this project, how was your structure? Then we can think about kind of predefined templates of structure that other people used. So a way of template structure. And when we say, okay, I've got to do an event. Is it something like an EOGD event? So some guys use this kind of template. So you don't have to reinvent the wheel. So a repository of templates of outline structure could be really interesting for a lot of purpose. So you can just get inspired or just take it and put it into your own way of designing your workspace. That could be really useful for the network. I'm sure I have to close now. We'll go to the last one. So it's about the working groups workspace.
Yeah, we have chosen this group here, the IT working group, and yeah, we have put a lot of tasks on it, and yeah, we just saw that there are a lot of tasks connected with a lot of other like the wiki with file repository, or like this one here, file repository, wiki, and the forum. And then we just thought about what is really the main thing that should be in the wiki, and we had like ideas of exchanging meeting reports and notes, because if you after a meeting you always go back to your office and then you have to write a report, which are a lot of people doing during the meeting as well. So why writing 30 reports when there could be one, and then you just translate it in your language, which could also be like a nice idea to just what we have done the last time. Okay, it's this one here. And then we put this like as a topic in the wiki structure. We were also discussing about maybe like reports from this year, from last year, from the year before, and so on. And then Michael said, well, something very interesting, that if you put a structure like this into the wiki, then it gets more like a file repository. And then it's like more, it's really like more a file repository, not a wiki. And the wiki should be active, should be current, and should be people should be collaborate. So yeah, then we were not sure, and we were ended up in maybe just the next meeting or current meeting. Then you can put the report. We also had an idea of topics. Where is it? That you can say, it would be ideas for topics. Well, we put it in the forum, but then you can put here, okay, the future topics would be, I don't know, maybe best practices from UK or the new Extranet, and so on. We put a lot of exchanging stuff in it, like exchanging best practices in IT, a list of links from the portals from the member state, just to get like some inspiration, or just to look what others do. And we thought it would be a good idea to have it like best practices as a chapter, but it's, we thought it would be more like innovations, not best practices. And then we also had the exchange of good and bad experience obstacles, which we named bad practices. And if you're new in a group and you see, there are best practices, okay, I can understand, and bad practices, it was like, could be a interesting view of a group, but then we changed it to do's and don'ts, because concerning job fairs or tools, it would be interesting that you write, it should be a good idea to check the internet connection before the job fair, not at the day of the event, stuff like that. And so on. We also discussed about checklists for job fairs, tutorials, about tools and links, how to use the tools that we have. Could be a good chapter, and about the working group itself. For example, this working group, there is 2 meetings a year, 10 members can come, first come, first serve, or stuff like that. And we also put some stickers for chat, online chat, because we thought about virtual brainstorm, collecting ideas could be also interesting, not to write in a forum, also to just discuss directly in a chat. Exchange messages, we also put social messaging, for example, if you're the day before here, maybe we can meet, or just if someone leaves the group, that you can still be connected together, you can exchange emails, telephones and stuff. Calendar, of course, put in the meetings, put in job fairs, webinars. We talked about webinars, that you maybe can make a webinar about news on the portal, news on the Extranet, and all this. IT news from the Echo. Then we also had the exchange of messages, like more in invitations and collaboration. For example, if I see there will be a job fair near the Swiss border in Germany, maybe it could be interesting that I join this job fair as well, so we can collaborate and then can send a message. Hey, Christoph, would be okay if you go to work together. Homework for the next IT working group. I put this on the list.
Homework. So
I think this is not, we can discuss about this point.
So basically, if I've got to wrap up a bit this part, here you have typically a kind of extensions of real-world people that know a bit. And you see Workspace as a digital tool, a synchronous way of working, except for the online chat. First of all, which I understand, you need to give reports to each of your countries. So one of the practice that I'm just sharing is to have a predefined template of minutes using a wiki, and during the event, someone make the minutes directly. Like this, when you come back, or if you are just here, you're online, you just save, because you can save, as a PDF or a Word document, the wiki, and you translate it. So like this, you earn time, and you get already at least your reports done. So that's a practical tool. The second element, because that's true, you're meeting at least 2 times. You want to know who will be there before. So it's a way that we know that the activity will be really heavy, maybe 1 week before. That you want to know, oh, you're there, let's have a drink. So it's informal approach where you can meet each other. Then about the good and the best practice, in fact, is exchange knowledge, because you are knowing yourself outside of the digital world. You're knowing yourself inside. So each of you get a kind of relation. So it's really a place where it's really a workspace where on a specific moment, 2 or 3 weeks, there will be high activity. And then it's going maybe to die, except if you are trying to go in an event somewhere else in Europe, and you want to know if somebody else wants to say. So you want to say, oh, by the way, I'm going there, do you want to join, whatever. That might be a way that I can see the working groups, and it's okay for a structure. It's really, it could be possible to do that way. Okay, that would be, sorry for the time pressure. So based on the 3 categories of workspace you work on, I will talk with the team here, and we're going to define the first kind of structure for the pilot, and we're going to use your input to make it possible. That's the purpose of it. So we take the example of the job offers, for instance, for the group of interest, the one for the projects, of course, and the one for the IT working groups. That is the basic structure. So the way that the IT working group is working today, what we do we do it every time. So we recap what was talked on the previous working group event, and then we go further every time, because it's a small group. It's easy to make these kind of interactions. So like this, you can see directly the result and what's going to be implemented in the extranet. I thank you for your time, and I suppose you must be hungry. So it's time for lunch. Thank you.